Welcome to Blackboard 101. This is a course for instructors who are new to Blackboard. Before we begin, I want to talk about exactly what Blackboard is, or more precisely, I should say Blackboard Learn. Blackboard is the company, Learn is the product. We also use Blackboard Collaborate here, and I will talk a little bit about Collaborate later. Blackboard Learn is known as a learning management system. That means that it builds websites for courses. Another way of thinking of it is as a content management system specifically for course websites. Unlike regular content management systems, standard ones such as WordPress or Cascade that we use at the University of Miami for our main website, Blackboard lets you do tons of specialized educational things, such as collect assignments from your students, run plagiarism checks, keep a gradebook that does all the math for you, and then at the end of the semester makes your grades available automatically just to the correct students. So it is a completely FERPA compliant way of sharing your grades with students. That's a little bit of some of the special things that Blackboard can do. But right now we're just going to talk about just the main functions to get you going in Blackboard so you can navigate around. We are going to cover first a little bit of Blackboard jargon. We'll talk about making a course available. We'll talk about announcements. We'll upload a syllabus. We'll enter contact info. We will talk about documents and files in Blackboard, and we will discuss the course menu. And finally, at the end, we will talk about adding users, TAs, graders, or co-instructors to your course, and we'll finish off with an intro to Collaborate. All right, it's kind of a lot to go over, so we'll start here on the Blackboard homepage. Up in the upper right corner, you'll see this Quickly window, and Quickly is where you can do two very important functions. One is manipulate your course availability, the other is post announcements. If we click course availability, we can see all of the courses that you are teaching this semester. I am currently teaching 2, and the courses are currently available. However, I can click on either one and make them unavailable. And what that means is that every student has a My Courses window when they log into Blackboard. The only courses they will see are the ones that are available. Here at the University of Miami, we make a Blackboard course site for every course that is in CaneLink. We also synchronize all the instructor and student enrollment data with Blackboard. So for every course in CaneLink, we have a corresponding course in Blackboard. If you are an instructor, you can log in, see the courses you're teaching. You can go to your user list and you will see all of your students are pre-enrolled in your course. However, traditionally not everyone was required to use Blackboard. That is one of the reasons why when we create these courses, course availability is initially turned off. Making your courses unavailable was also a good way for instructors to work on their courses. A lot of times allowing students access to a work in progress would give them an inaccurate representation of what was going on in the course. In addition to availability, we also can post an announcement from Quickly. An announcement does 2 things. One, it creates an entry in the first page that students see when they go into a course. Every course has what Blackboard calls an entry point, and we have made our entry point the announcement screen. So if I send an announcement to all my students in CV 101, I will, just like any email message, you have a subject and a body. In addition to posting this announcement, the announcement can be emailed to students. So what's going to happen is I will both create an announcement on the announcements page and email the announcement at the same time. I highly recommend using announcements instead of emails to send messages to your students. The main reason being that as long as a student is actually going into the Blackboard site, it would be very, very hard for them to miss the announcement, whereas emails are often missed. By keeping your announcements together at the very front of the course, you'll hear a lot less of, I didn't get that email. So that announcement has been posted to the course and the emails are being sent now. If we refresh this page, you can see that Test 2 now appears underneath the course CV101 where I posted the announcement. Let's actually open up the course. All right. We can see the announcements right here. Let's talk a little bit about this screen here. What do we actually see on this screen? Well, starting over here, we have the course menu. I'm going to try to use some of the Blackboard jargon here as we go over these pages, so this makes a little more sense. On the left side, we have the course menu. This is essentially the student navigation system. The center of the page, these are your content areas. What we have here are links that open new content areas or open specialized tools in the content area. So what we see in front of us is the announcements page. This is actually a Blackboard tool called Announcements. Moving down the page, we see the control panel. The control panel is filled with functions that are only viewable to the instructors and the TAs. Students do not have access to this section. This is where a lot of course configuration can be done, where you can find your grade center, which is the grade book, and you can work with users and groups in the course. Moving back up to the top, we see the course name, followed by a very convenient menu that lets you jump from course to course. If you are teaching multiple courses, you can quickly jump from one to the other. Then let's go through the content area. At the top of every content area is going to be a title for the area. Beneath that is going to be a function bar. Currently we're in announcements. Announcements only has one button, so it almost doesn't look like a bar. If I move into a normal content area, such as course documents, you can see the function bar resembles more of a bar. And beneath the bar is where the actual content is posted. If we move up to the top of the page, we see a little icon called Student Preview. Student Preview actually creates a sample student, enrolls them in the course, and then lets you impersonate that student so you can see exactly what the course looks like. We are going into Student Preview right now, and now we can see the announcements just as a student would see them. Notice there is no function bar and there are no contextual menus. And let's exit out of Student Preview. We'll talk about that second thing, the contextual menus. These are all over Blackboard. Every time you create a new item, you will have a contextual menu next to it that goes for things in the course menu as well as things in the content area. There are several functions available depending on what item is selected. To finish off this bar up here, there's one other button, the Edit Mode button. Now the Edit Mode button allows you to quickly turn off the function bar and turn off the contextual menus. Edit Mode was an older function around before Student Preview was available, but it can be still useful as a very quick way. It is faster than Student Preview, just to see what the page would look like without all the busyness of the function bars and the contextual menus. So let's turn that back on, and we will go over to the course menu, and let's dive into this a little more deeply. Like I said before, at the top of the list we have announcements. Below that we have several content areas and specialized tools. One of the first things you want to do when you're building your course is usually to upload a syllabus. These content areas will be laid out by default in our default theme. When you open your course, it will look exactly like this, at least for these top 6 things. You can, in general, people simply upload their syllabus as a Word document or a PDF. This one is simply this document is a PDF. And as you can see, Blackboard has a viewer inside it. It is very similar to viewers available in Google Drive. It can show you many different types of files. That's how it looks with a PDF. Below the syllabus, you'll see an area called Faculty Info. Faculty Info is a link to a contact area. You can create contacts or folders of contacts. And if we jump over to the other course that I'm teaching, I can show you a little bit what this would look like if you have multiple contacts listed. This can be great if you have co-instructors or TAs, so the students always have an easy place to find out how to contact the instruction team. Now let's go back to the previous course. The next two areas are course documents and assignments. This was the older way of presenting the course menu in Blackboard. Instructors could just simply come in, put a bunch of documents in course documents, go to assignments, and then make a series of assignments over here. In general, a student could work off a syllabus and find out what they're supposed to do for each week or each unit. All the materials would be available between these two areas. That's the way things are laid out, and that's the way our default theme ships. It's the easiest way for a professor to get information online very quickly with minimal effort in organization, at least. With minimal effort in organization in Blackboard, I should say. If we go over to my other course, 201, you can see I've used a different sort of organization. I think this one is much easier. Often we just kind of model the syllabus, however the syllabus is broken up, and we create a content area that I've called modules. And I keep talking about content, creating a new content area. We do that up here from the Add Menu Item button, and we choose Content Area. At this point, I could just type modules. Modules 2. I cannot make two of the same content areas. And now you see at the bottom of the list, Modules 2 appears. You'll notice there are two squares next to it. The first square means it is hidden. So I can show the link. Now it would be available to students, or it would be available to students if the link had content. As you can see, when I roll over this little square, this link has no content. So this is an empty basic content area. As long as there's nothing in it, students will not see it in the course menu, even if it is not hidden. So since I don't really need this, let's go back to the contextual menu and let's delete this item. After a couple confirmations, it has been deleted, and we see our on-screen notification that has been deleted. Now let's move back to the module window where I actually have some content, and notice the different types of things that we can create. One of them is called a content folder. That is all that you will see in my modules list. Every week has a folder. And to create a folder, we simply go to Create Folder, and I will write week 13 and submit it. Now week 13 will appear at the bottom of the course. Let's say I needed to rename this. I was changing the order and I didn't want to change everything and decided to rename this week 6.5. It stays in the same place, but it's down here, but fortunately I can drag and drop this around and drop week 6.5 in between week 6 and 7. just to give you an idea of how rename works and how you can drag items around. Now let's actually go into this content folder. This is where we're really building the guts of the course. Inside week 1, I have a series of readings that I want my students to do, and I have some other things. But readings is actually another content folder. So if I go into readings, I can see there are a few documents here. If I click this report, just like the syllabus, the document appears in the screen reader. I'll go back to the readings window. If I wanted to upload another document, I could upload it as either an item or a file. The only difference is if I open it as an item, I have the ability to write something about the document. If I write it as a file, there is no extra text window. So if I write it as a if I do it as a item, I can still attach a document to this item. In this case, I will open and attach this banner. Remote banner. And then I have a text area where I can write a whole lot of things. In fact, my item may just be my text area. There's no need for me to actually attach a document to it. So I can write something about this document, and I'll submit it. The submit button will be on the lower right corner of all of your Blackboard edit screens. So now you see this item looks a little bit different. It has an attachment, and I wrote something about this document. So let's back out one level, and we can use the breadcrumb trail in the course menu bar. You can see the breadcrumbs in the course title bar, letting you know where you are. In addition to the readings, I have an assignment here. Now, an assignment can simply tell students what to do. You can simply use it as a sort of notification where you're telling students what to do, and you could tell them to email the files to you when you're done. But Blackboard has a much better system built into it. If we go into this assignment, we can see there's an area for instructions. I said I've uploaded 4 papers. Please read all 4 papers and write a review article summarizing some stuff. Now, students they could actually write their answer directly in Blackboard, although really no one will do that. In general, they'll write everything in Word, or they'll use Google Docs. If they write something in Word, they can, once again, you can just browse the computer and submit their document. Or if it's in Google Docs or a few other cloud platforms, they can directly upload from those cloud platforms. Notice you cannot upload directly from the University of Miami Google Drive. Unfortunately, there are some contractual issues about that. However, they can upload from their personal Google Drives. They can also upload from OneDrives or their Dropboxes. We have another web seminar where they talk more about assignments and talk about assessments, which are ways to give tests and quizzes through Blackboard. In there, they'll talk a little bit about the gradebook as well. That's one of the powerful things of making assignments in Blackboard, is that every assignment becomes an automatic item in your gradebook. So it's very easy to enter your grades as you go along. And if you feel like doing a little bit of logic, you can have Blackboard do the math for you and calculate the final grades. Below the assignment, we have a couple of other features that are in Blackboard. this is the blog. Below the blog is a journal. Blogs and journals are very similar. They're just a way for students to create little entries, little text entries. The difference is blogs are shared amongst students. Students can see other students' blogs, whereas journals are private between the student and the instructor. Now, these are often used by instructors to sort of encourage students to read a little more deeply. Like this journal entry that I wrote here says, which paper best summarized the state of online learning? Share a few thoughts. So when students are doing that, reading those documents, they know that they have to write a little something about it. However, for the most part, blogs and journals are not really graded as far as content. More like a way of judging participation. And a lot of times blogs or journals may be given 5% of the total grade or something like that. Now below those two items, we have another content folder, just a plain old content folder that we're going to talk about the very special area of videos. I have 2 videos in this course. Let's delete this one. The first video is actually loaded through Kaltura. Kaltura is our online video streaming platform. You can think of it as a sort of private YouTube. While you can load large files into Blackboard, I believe the number is of 2.5 gigabytes per file, and there's an unlimited total amount per course. So we've really haven't run into any issues with people pushing the definition of unlimited, but there is no defined limit for disk usage for courses. But still, I wouldn't recommend uploading videos directly to the course. Well, for one reason, it's slow, and for another reason, the interface is simply not as well. It's not as nice as using Kaltura. But like I said, Kaltura is a little bit like a private YouTube. When you use it through Blackboard, only your students will have access to the files. So if the work might have copyright issues if you were to post it someplace public like YouTube, you can upload most things if you are just sharing them with your class. Now, in this video folder, I have one video, a guided meditation. Maybe I wanted to calm down a bit, but what if I want the opposite of that? Let's add another video then. So to add a Kaltura video, instead of adding a file, which would be over here, an item or file, I would go over here to Tools, and I could choose Kaltura Media. Now, the content area is being taken over by Kaltura. This is not Blackboard content. This content is being delivered by Kaltura. And what has happened here are these are several videos that I have uploaded through this Add New button. If I click Add New, I can upload just any file from my hard drive. And then that, just like uploading to YouTube, that file is converted into the proper Kaltura format automatically. It's like a cloud converter that will translate just about any video into the right format. Below that, there's another interesting option for professors, the webcam recording option. This is a great way to make a quick lecture. As long as your computer has a camera with it and you have a decent quality microphone around, you've always got a studio where you can record videos directly into your course. Now, once you've added them, they appear down here in your content collection. And so I said that I wanted to get amped up a little bit, so I want Steve Ballmer in my course. I'm just going to call this Ballmer. And we don't need to fill anything else out. We're just going to upload the video. And now Steve Ballmer is here. And as I said, the video has its own player. It is sort of YouTube-like. You can go full screen. So you have a nice little streaming video player built into your course as well. We've talked about uploading your syllabus, putting in your faculty info, perhaps organizing some modules into weeks, adding content to each one of them. Talked a little bit about the types of content you can upload, items, files, videos. But let's say you have a TA. As I said before, students and instructors are all synchronized with Canelink, but a lot of times TAs are not in Canelink. So what you would need to do then is we're going to go into the control panel for the first time, and we're going to go to this area, Users and Groups. We'll open that up and go to Users. Now we can see all of the people in the course. But let's say I need to put another teaching assistant in this course. Well, I'm going to start by going to the function bar. Like I said, nearly everything in Blackboard is either controlled by the contextual menu or something in the function bar. In this case, we are going to find a user to enroll. I'm going to make Peter Martinez my TA for this course. Unfortunately, I don't know his C number, but we do have a browse button, and we can view all the students and instructors that have ever taken a course at the university and sort them by last name, first name, or email address. I think we are going to have a lot of Martinez in this list. 35 pages of Martinez. So the Blackboard find system is not the best, but at least I can show all of them. And as long as you have a fast enough connection at home, I can see, here we go. Here's Peter. I will add him to the course. When I hit submit, all that happens is it fills in his C number for me. As I said, the username is C number in Blackboard. Now I simply change his role to teaching assistant and make sure that yes is checked. Now, Peter Martinez is listed as a teaching assistant in the course. That concludes just about everything in Blackboard Learn that I wanted to go over. However, we do have Blackboard Collaborate. In general, we are encouraging professors to try Zoom if they're new to using online classrooms. But we do have another product, Blackboard Collaborate, which is made by Blackboard and is also integrated with the course. In fact, a Collaborate room is created automatically for every course. You can see I have a Collaborate room listed here, but let's just delete that for a second. And I'll show you how easy it is to add a link to your Collaborate room. We go to the add menu item area, and we will choose tool link because Collaborate is a tool. Collaborate room, and we'll look at the types of tools and choose Blackboard Collaborate Ultra. Ultra is the latest version of Collaborate. Now you can see my Collaborate room shows up at the bottom of the list. I'll move it up here. And as you can see, I've added the Collaborate room, but this little checkbox is still here. This means this link is hidden from students. To make this available to students, I need to show the link. So now, what happens when we go into the Collaborate room? Well, by clicking the tool link, Collaborate takes over the content area, and we can see there's a room titled with the course name that's available right here. You can create additional sessions, one for each meeting if you like. However, there is no need to do that. If your class meets Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 2, you can simply tell your students, go to Blackboard Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 1:58. Log in, click on my course, and then go to Collaborate room. They will be taken here, and if they click on 201, they will be given the option to join the course room, and in case they don't have audio from their computer, there's also a dial-in option just like Zoom. So when I click join room, the the real Collaborate interface actually takes over the whole screen. Most all the options you need during the presentation are over here. There are 4 different tabs. The first tab, the first 3 are really all that we need to worry about. The first one is the chat window. The next one is the list of attendees, and this is where you can mute people and you can ask questions and get yes and no's and thumbs up. Next to the Manage Attendees window is the Share Content window. And this is where the actual teaching is going to happen. We have a couple options here. You can share a blank whiteboard. This is the kind of thing that would probably work well on a Microsoft Surface, or if you have an iPad Pro with an Apple Pencil, or some other form of drawing pad. But you have the basic shape, pencil, and text tools available to you. Below that is the Share Application screen, and this is very similar to what you'll see in Zoom. You can share your entire screen, and I have 2 screens on this computer, so you can pick which one you want to share. You can share individual applications, or you can actually share individual tabs within Chrome, which is very nice, since you may not want to have all of your tabs showing to your class. And finally, one of the more interesting items is the Share Files area. This is not just sending files over to your users so they can download them. This is sort of a built-in PowerPoint presenter. In this case, I have uploaded a PowerPoint file, and if I click on it and choose Share Now, I select a slide to begin sharing, and what your students will see is right here. So you can move through the slides by clicking on them and move through your lecture that way. So you don't have to actually open PowerPoint and then share the PowerPoint application or share a screen that has the PowerPoint application on it. In this case, you directly share a converted PowerPoint presentation. However, there are a few limitations. Audio files and links in the slides will not work. Animations will not work. It essentially converts your PowerPoint slides into static pages. Now, if converting and uploading a series of PowerPoint files into your Collaborate interface seems like it would be a helpful way to teach your class, then by all means try it out, use Collaborate. But if you plan on sharing your screen or sharing applications, Zoom seems to have a better compression algorithm and delivers better video quality, especially if you're using a high resolution like 1080p screen. All right, so that concludes our presentation. I hope you found this useful. We have several other webinars available, one on assessments, one on using Zoom with Blackboard, and a final one on using Respondus Lockdown Browser, which is a way of securely delivering tests remotely. All right, thank you very much. Good luck.